and Sean, breaking through the noise, serving real talk, the genuine choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes, just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made, real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound, unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade, real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
And we are live as we talk sports, Sean Webb. Real takes over fake debates. It is Monday, Sean. How are you feeling today, brother?
Doing good, SB. How you doing?
Feel good. Coming off a good Week 11 football Sunday. It was good. The Bears won, so I'm happy about that. My Chargers just always forget to play football against the Jaguars, so I'm very upset about that. But besides that, we getting closer to this playoff race. It's getting to the real exciting point of the NFL season. Obviously, basketball is going. My Bulls kind of went down to earth a little bit, but we're perfectly fine. I think we're cool. How about you, man? How was your Sunday?
It was all right. The Saints were off, so I was in a good mood. So.
Okay, yeah, you didn't have to watch them. You don't sell on purpose. Yeah. But if you guys watch it, make sure you guys, wherever you guys are watching from, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. Tiffany in chat says, Slew SB and Shabby Football Monday, everyone. My Ravens are knocking on the door. The Ravens are coming back. And I'm going to say this, Sean. If they don't want to give, because right now I still think Jonathan Taylor's the MVP, but they're not going to try to give it to a running back. They want to give it to a quarterback. If Lamar Jackson gets the Ravens to, after being 1-5, come back, because they just won 4 straight now. Come back, win his division, get him in a playoff spot. Lamar Jackson the MVP again, because that is the key. The key word in MVP is the V and his value, and his value is clearly through the roof when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out Jordan. He said, "Shout out in here, yeah. Shout out in the building, bear down." And he says, "Hey Lamont, Foxy, what's going on?" But we got a lot of things to talk about. We go get into. I know y'all hear us talk about football, but some NBA stories have passed and some breaking news of things that have been going on. So we got to get into it. First things first. Welcome back, Paul George. Paul George is expected to make his season debut versus the Clippers. I believe that game is today, right?
Tonight,
yes. The game tonight against the Clippers, which his former team is the Clippers. I have a theory of something I want to say about this too, just in general. But what's your reaction to Paul George making his season debut today? What you expect from him?
I mean, obviously getting Paul George back should be a boost to the Sixers, particularly because their backcourt has had to do a lot of heavy lifting to start the season. They started the season out probably a little better than they were maybe even expecting themselves, with Embiid in and out, and obviously not having Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put any hope on that Sixers roster at all. Mm-hmm. But obviously with the East being very much in flux, anything's possible. So we'll see what happens, when PG comes back. Hopefully, he's not coming back, trying to live up to that $208 million contract that he signed. He's just coming back and just trying to play and be healthy and help the Sixers in any way he can.
I think, I'm being honest with you, Sean, I think Paul George would be solid, but he shouldn't come in, like you said, trying to be the $280 million guy. I don't want him to ruin the flow of that young backcourt. I believe the Sixers got lucky from a point perspective where I get why you go get a Paul George. You got Embiid, you pay him, you try to compete. This is a situation where your star is on the back end of his career, which is sad to say about Joel Embiid, but it's true because of injuries. And usually when this happens, you don't get a star. You don't really have that next guy to replace him. They got their future. The 76ers' future is intact. Like, I think this year, play it out. Let Paul George, let him be here, fit in with the young, try to fit in the young guys. Make sure they don't take away from the young guys' game. Don't kill their confidence. This coming off season, Paul George and Joel Embiid got to go. I'll say it'll probably be hard to move both of them because of their contract, but they got to go. I think the future is now with the 76ers with these young guns, BJ Edgecombe, Maxey, and the other kid, the one, the TikToker, the dancing guy,
Kane.
I think they Joel Embiid and Paul George slowing them down. With those guys, they want to run and get up the floor and attack. They're young legs though, and I think they'll be even grittier defensively too if they get some nice. If the people they get for Paul George and Joel Embiid, if it's like some good defenders, good two-way guys that want to run out the floor, I think the Sixers would be. The future is brighter. It's sad to say the future is brighter for the 76ers with VJ Edgecombe and Max than it is with Joel Embiid. Anything else that can happen. But I'm definitely can't wait to see what he can do. What's up, Dane? For me. Now, another injury that did happen, Sean, was Wemby is out multiple weeks with a strained calf. Obviously, you want to play it safe with Wemby, obviously with his height. And then, obviously, when you use some calf strains, if you try to play on it, it usually leads to a bigger injury. So I'm glad they're sitting Wemby out and let him get a couple weeks to get himself right. But what a start to the season for Wembanyama. I'm going to be honest with you, Sean, because we see something in Wemby that we've never seen before. I've never seen that in my life. Because, Sean, if he could have 10 healthy years of playing like this, because there's going to be multiple MVPs, multiple defensive player of the years, he'd probably be the greatest player we ever seen if he could play 10 healthy years of this, of what he's doing. But what's your reaction to the Wemby injury? And am I crazy for thinking that Wemby could be – if Wemby played like this for 10 straight years, he'd probably be the greatest basketball player ever?
I don't make those pronouncements on players until they've put in some work and some time. And a lot of that has to do with, as you mentioned, SB, his availability. Right now, that hasn't always been the case for him early in his career. So, let's just wait and see, on that one. But that said, obviously, the Spurs have been a great surprise in the West to many people. I thought people coming into the season thought it would be a potential, play-in team in a very competitive West outside of really, one or two teams in the Western Conference. But, the Spurs are 9-4, at the time of this injury. They just got De'Aaron Fox back. They're gonna get Dylan Harper back at some point. Thankfully it's not season ending with Wemby or anything of that nature. The hope is that, again, like you said, when they get him back, that they'll still be playing competitive basketball. But right now it's, again, this is about making sure he's okay long term. And you also know with calf strains, you don't want to put any more pressure on the Achilles tendon. And again, Tyrese Halliburton last year in the finals was a great example of that. That if obviously it's the finals, you're gonna do everything you got to play. But at the same time, you do have to think about the long-term health of your stars and your players in general, just because that's the way the business works. Hopefully, again, he comes back, he's healthy, and we get to see him, fulfill the potential that many people believe he will.
Yeah, right now Wemby is averaging 26 points. He shoots 50% from the field, 34% for three, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. And I believe he averaged like 2 blocks. So like them numbers is ridiculous. All his numbers are up from last year, besides his 3-point percentage, which is only down by like 1%. But he's still shooting around his average range from 3 at this point in time, Sean. But how Wemby played and a different dynamic that he brings to this San Antonio Spurs team, they're not gonna be a play-in team. They're gonna be a playoff team. They're gonna be a playoff team. Sean. Next up on the list, because you did send me this story, I want to actually get the article up because another day, another betting scandal, another problem. So I think you see this from The Athletic. No, 1 second, sure. About the NBA collective phones from NBA teams. It said, breaking news, the NBA has asked multiple teams, including the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they just used the Lakers name for shock value, because they could have just said teams. If that's the case, you just said all teams. But I guess because the Lakers is like one of the most popular teams in the league. But to hand over the Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, to hand over documents and other property as part of this investigation into illegal sports gambling. 6 league sources told The Athletic. What is your reaction to this, Sean?
Well, so I want to be also very clear. The reason why they mentioned the Lakers is because 2 of their employees, Randy Mims, who you know, SB, if you know anybody knows the name Randy Mims, that's LeBron's basically manager. He's with them pretty much all the time. You know, so he does hold an official title with the Lakers. So, you know, that's part of it. And Mike Mancias, who's an assistant trainer, because LeBron's name and because Anthony Davis's name were directly mentioned in some of these investigations, that's why they were being mentioned specifically. So it wasn't a shock value thing. There's a potential connection there.
You might as well say it all the other teams there.
Yeah, no, there's a potential connection there. I think the 2 things to remember first and foremost is that this is the NBA looking at what this report was saying around gambling, and they're doing their due diligence to make sure that everything from their internal investigation is on the up and up. And if it's not, then certainly they're going to respond in kind. As I understand, any employee who's been asked to turn over their phone is cooperating. They themselves have not been named in these reports. But again, if there was any messaging or anything that looks, you know, again, potentially suspicious, and I want to be clear, potentially suspicious, of course, the league is going to, you know, make the proper decisions that they need to make in terms of making sure the integrity of the game and the games being played are not being compromised, particularly when you're talking about related to gambling. So I think that's what we have to look at, and that is the nature of where the leagues are. I think you can see the same thing happen potentially in baseball. I think you can see it happening. So all of these leagues who are involved with receiving money from gambling, whether it's daily prop betting, daily betting, whatever, they are going to make sure that these games are being played without impugning the integrity of said games.
But I feel like what the point we at now, what can we do to really stop the illegal betting? I think like it's all the betting stuff is put everywhere where everybody can see it. And then now you got situations where you have people involved with people like the mafia. Then you got stuff with people trying to just get over with their friends, get their friends a couple $100,000. How can we legitimately stop the betting problem in sports before it ruins the integrity of the game? Because, and then also, how do you handle it in a situation where you could have a player like, let's just say, you know, Chauncey will deal with the mafia, but say if like the mafia got a stronghold on somebody, so now they have no choice to do it because their life is in danger. Like, how do we go about handling it?
I think 2 things. One, I don't know if it'll ever be completely clean in terms of gambling. So I want to point that out right now. I think from the purposes of the league wants to make sure that anyone who is employed by the league, employed by a team, an employee or associated with the NBA in terms of how you make your living, that you yourself are not involved in anything that can be perceived as illegal or at minimum can be perceived as not on the up and up. So I just want to make that clear. That's from the league's perspective. In my mind, I think there are 2 things that I would love to see happen. Number one, get rid of prop betting. Get rid of the prop bets. If someone's going to play over 30 or 40 minutes, I don't think it should be gambled on. If someone's going to take this number of threes, I don't think it should be gambled on. If this person's going to take this number of free throws, I don't think that should be bet on. That's me. I think get rid of the prop betting. I think that's part of the problem, particularly player prop betting. But that's me. I'm not a gambler, so I want to make clear this is just me looking at where some of the issues have come up over the last few years, and a lot of it has often been related to prop betting. So get rid of it. That's my take. But again, curious your thoughts.
I feel like it's impossible to do it because probably prop bets, the specific thing that you talk about, prop bets is probably like one of the main things that they make money off betting off of, because then they feel like that's how to get people engaged, because now you worried about somebody dropping 30 because you got 500 on that player dropping 30 that night. And then, they do like the parlays. So now it's like you putting 10 prop bets together to try to get a bigger profit. And when it comes to the player one, I feel like, because if they just do it as like win losses, I don't think the betting companies will make as much money. But that now with the betting companies not making as much money, then the league won't get money. And I feel like that's what it all boils down to. But the NBA has to realize, or MLB, NFL, whatever sport it is, you got to realize all money ain't good money to me. And I get it. You get the TV deal. Bad enough with all these different TV subscriptions, Sean, that's like bad, and they little stake in the league is making it harder for the fans to access the game. Then it's going to be, now with betting, going back to the betting point, the main purpose I'm saying is, with the betting stuff, it takes away the integrity of the game, and it will turn some fans away from watching the sport because they know people are betting or they cheat in the game pretty much. And that's why I think in the long term, it will hurt the NBA more than that little extra 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 that they got. Because I think college basketball did it. I forgot who legalized it, like that the kids can bet or the athletes can bet. I just think they just can't bet on their own sport, because how bad it has gotten that the NFL is going to have. I mean, the NBA. Let's talk about NBA. The NBA is going to have to do something about it. And I don't know, like, every time you investigate or try to take somebody's phone, is that really going to fix the problem? No, they're just going to find another way around to do it. And maybe should we have harsher punishments if you get caught? Should you just automatically get banned from the league? Like, what I don't know what else we could do, because taking away the prop bets ain't going to work, because the betting companies make their most money off prop bets.
I think
what people go get in the game.
From a punishment perspective, SB, I think until it happens to someone with a big name, a big time player who's, a franchise level player or a superstar, however you define that.
Yeah.
I don't know if the punishments are going to hit as well. And nothing against Jonte Porter, but the truth is, I don't really know if anybody
care about Jonte Porter. Yeah, nobody cares.
So then that's no slight. It's just kind of reality. He wasn't a big name player. His brother is a bigger name player, but the facts is that, I think it's going to take someone, getting hammered of a certain acumen or a certain status in order for it to really resonate. Because that's usually what happens. It's like, it's like, oh, they got rid of so-and-so, and so-and-so got a lifetime ban. Oh, they're serious. So, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, guys are just making smart decisions, and, again, people who work for teams are making smart decisions around information they share in their circles or whatever, but we'll see what happens.
And then around this point in time right now, I think you will be stupid to be doing something right now, because there's too much. I think every player, even if you was doing it, I hope you guys stop, because this will be the worst time to be caught doing something. With all the stuff going on with Chauncey and Terry Rozier, and then for you, I think the next player to get in trouble probably gonna have one of the harshest punishments, because there's so much going on. Somebody go give me an example out of at some point, because even the refs betting too, all of them, everybody. We didn't get a chance to talk about this one, Sean, but because it happened like the middle of last week, it was after the show day. Nico Harrison fired by the Mavs. My real question is this. Obviously, everybody's saying the clear elephant in the room. Even if it was Nico Harrison idea to trade Luka, I don't think he have the power alone to move a player like Luka Doncic. You can't just up in the GM just trade a player like Luka Doncic status. He's a franchise guy.
Right.
Now, to fire Nico in the beginning of the season, which was crazy to me, because at that point you might as well let him at least rock out the year so his team got healthy that he put together, because you only fire Nico because now you as an owner actually feeling the heat and backlash of actually trading Luka Doncic. And Luka Doncic averaged almost 40 this year. Is they using Nico as a scapegoat?
I think both things can be true. I think there may be a little bit of scapegoatism there. Mm-hmm. But I also think Nico as the primary basketball advisor in the organization, made a massive miscalculation with the Luka trade. To be clear, the moves Nico made prior to the Luka trade were actually really good moves.
Good moves, yeah.
You know, obviously getting PJ Washington, getting Gafford, you know, making the trade or the trade for Kyrie Irving at the time wasn't considered overly popular. You build a roster around Luka Doncic that obviously went to the NBA Finals, and then in the last offseason, you made the move to get Klay Thompson to pair him in between Kyrie and Luka because of your lack of shooting during the finals, and we never really got to see it play out. I think the part of the problem is before Luka got hurt last year in Dallas on Christmas Day, the Mavs were 14-3, and they were playing really, really well. And again, the concerns around Luka's conditioning and his commitment, and the fact that for all intents and purposes he wasn't upset enough about the losing in the finals or whatever. Put all that garbage aside. The bottom line is you made a trade, you made a decision, and you made a decision in a silo. You didn't make the decision to say, hey, we need to shop Luka Doncic and let's see what kind of package we can get back for him. Because I got to presume if you put Luka on the market that 25, 26 teams would put together packages that either A, try to blow your mind, or B, they want to at least keep the conversation open because it is Luka Doncic.
Right.
So
I think he do. Be real with you, Sean. Looking at like everything that happened, and then when more information came out about how him and Rob relationship is, he threw Luka to his homie. He literally did. He literally because like you said, you didn't put Luka on an open market at all. You only trade him to the Lakers, only talk to the Lakers to come and find out you and Rob is like best friends, and y'all real cool. Part of the reason why you in a position where you at, and he had parts to do with that too. I appreciate you, my boy. I threw you a bone. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I'll just leave it at this, right? I think this move probably should have been made during the summer, particularly once it was clear you got the first pick and you were going to take Cooper Flag. Part because in this NBA, it is very hard to say we're going to be a very competitive team, but we're also going to develop a potential young star. That's hard to do. And at the end of the day, I think the Mavericks had the responsibility, if they were going to say, hey, this is our window, we got a 2 to 3 year window to maybe do something with that number one pick, to bring in yet another player that would have said, okay, they're trying to maximize this 2 to 3 year window. Now, I also want to say if the Mavs are 8-3 as opposed to 3-8 when this decision is made, I don't believe Nico gets fired. No. I'm just being honest. And also, I want to say too, the other piece is Nico wasn't just fired because of the Luka Doncic trade. I think Nico was fired because of how the cap is being handled right now. Because the Mavs are in a bad cap situation right now, a very bad cap situation. They don't have a lot of roster flexibility, which is why you're going to hear the rumors and the potential of the Mavs trying to trade Anthony Davis and potentially maybe even Kyrie Irving, not immediately, but maybe even Kyrie Irving down the line, just because they just don't have a lot of assets and their cap is a mess right now.
I'm glad you got to the point with the Anthony Davis stuff too. And Bob, shout out Bob the Builder for watching. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bob says Anthony Davis for cats and picks would put the Knicks over the hill. No, it will not. I'm being honest with you. The Knicks are better with Karl-Anthony Towns than Anthony Davis at this current moment. Because the problem is not everybody thinking Anthony Davis, we go get some picks and we get rebuilt. You know you're not. Anthony Davis, that value that you think Anthony Davis have, he does not have it at this current point in time. Because the two problems with Anthony Davis right now is the one glaring thing we always know, injuries. He's going to get hurt, and he's hurt right now as we speak. So that's a problem. So everybody knows he's an injury-prone superstar in his 30s. So that's questioning me not to give you a lot of money. It's actually three things. I'm sorry. I'm going to say the third one too. That's the one. Two, he's out of shape right now. Anthony Davis is out of shape, and that's part of the reason why he's injured right now. So why would I overpay you for a player? So I'm honestly thinking like how the Mavericks set up for me to take Anthony Davis off of your hands, you gotta give me a pick to be real with you. If not, I could just I'm cool. I'm not trading them. I'm not trading Cat for AD. I'm dead serious. And then the third for Rashawn is his contract. His contract for me up soon.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick, and again, we can spend more time on this at a later time. I think if you're a team and you're saying, hey, we got a core we really, really like, and we're in a conference or we're in a division that we think we got a chance to win, and we think an Anthony Davis trade can push us into legitimate contention, and there's two teams that come to mind for me right now, Chicago and Toronto. They have some pieces that could be attracted to the Mavericks. Again, the Mavs don't have a tradable pick. The only tradable pick they have right now is that Lakers pick they got. The rest of their picks are basically frozen or in pick swaps. So up until like 2031, I believe, is the earliest pick they have available. So I don't think it's going to be them attaching a pick. I think it's a team saying, hey, we really think Anthony Davis is our missing link and our missing piece, and we still can keep a really, really good core bringing Anthony Davis, which is, again, why I use the Bulls because of how some of their contracts are structured, and the Toronto Raptors. Those are the two teams that come to mind immediately. But I don't think there's an easy trade for Anthony Davis, also given the fact that he will be extension eligible in August. And in the last year of that extension, he could be making an upwards of $76 million at the age of 37. And I don't see a lot of teams doing that. I think it's one of those things where you're going to have to weigh the cost-benefit analysis of getting Anthony Davis, and that's where I think the issue will come in. But we know, and if you think you're getting Anthony Davis from last season, the 26-12 Anthony Davis that the Mavs got from the Lakers before he got hurt, I think, before he got hurt, obviously that, may give you a different perspective in terms of acquiring Anthony Davis. But the money in this new CBA, the contract, that's going to be as much of a factor, I think, as anything, SB.
And if the Bulls, obviously my Bulls is a possibility of trading for him. As long as they don't give him no picks, I'm cool. And I'm really not moving Kobe White either. You're going to have Vooch, probably like Herter, Patrick Williams or something like that. If it's around there, cool, but don't give up no picks. And if we got to give up Kobe White, they got to give us a pick, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's too much for Anthony Davis, and I'll rock with AD. I would love AD to come home, but no. And then the Raptors situation, who would you trade? Would you trade who would you try to get rid of? Brandon Ingram?
No, it would probably have to be like RJ Barrett and another contract, a combination of that. But again, it comes down to, in my opinion, what that team's roster looks like outside of what they're sending out. And do they think bringing in Anthony Davis is the move to, again, put them in contention in their division and in their conference?
Marty, I know y'all get too caught up in the name Anthony Davis. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the point is that the problem with AD, Mark, is that he's injury prone, he in his 30s, his contract, he's gonna need an extension that nobody want to pay him that money for. And he's out of shape right now. At this current moment, you will be stupid to trade any picks for Anthony Davis at this current point in time. Like you said, if he was the Anthony Davis for that they got from the Lakers, 26, 24, and 12, I 100% agree with you. But at this current moment of today, where Anthony Davis is right now, it's not worth it, because he's going to get hurt again. As soon as you trade for him, you're going to trade your future for him. And just like what happened with the Mavs, his first game playing on the court, he's going to get hurt because he's not in shape. That's why I say y'all just looking at the name of Anthony Davis more than just like what his current situation is. But no, and then I'm thinking about, okay, what about Miami Heat? Would you get rid of Bam?
God, no.
Okay.
No. I don't. First of all, I'm not a fan of. I don't trade younger for older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that. That's the first thing. And second thing is, I'm never worried about Bam's availability. He's got a toe sprain, which is why he's been out the last few games. But Bam is usually always available.
Always available, yeah.
So, so that matters. So no, not at all.
And
not at all.
You said like a team, would you use A.D. Davis to get over the hump? Right now, the Detroit Pistons #1. Would you ruin your team chemistry and not make a move like that?
I don't think that AD would be the move if the Pistons were going to make a move. I think the move, if the Pistons are going to make a move, will be Larry marketing. That would be me, but not AD. No.
I'm looking at West real quick. You know what they really saying that's going to happen? They talking about they're going to bat AD out, which is not going to happen. And he's going to find his way back to the Lakers. I'm like,
they're not going to bat.
They're not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all. We got to get to some football, though. Let's do it. I think Ja'Marr Chase needs to be choked and put in a headlock and get hit with a stone cold stunner because he's been suspended one game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. And the problem that I have, Sean, and I've seen it, they said that he lied about it initially. At first said he didn't spit on him. And then you come back and look at it, and the loogie was so big of what he spit on him, you can see it from a distance camera, the far view, you can see it. That's utterly disgusting. That's utterly disrespectful. And if Jalen Ramsey catch him outside and I hit a Jalen Ramsey, slap the HEL out of him, I am not surprised because he's out of line for that. But what was your reaction to that? And what's your reaction to suspension? It should be more games or one is enough?
I mean, again, I don't think Ja'Marr Chase has a reputation of doing this type of stuff, so that might have factored in. Also, just remember when Jalen Carter did it early in the season, in the first game of the season, he wasn't suspended. He was basically the game he got kicked out of because he didn't get to play was basically his suspension. So they used that as precedent. The one-game suspension makes sense. Now, that said, it was, you can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that.
As a man, bro, you gotta do that, bro. It's utterly disrespectful. As a man, bro. That's what I'm saying. And imagine, knowing Jalen Ramsey, Sean, I ain't gonna say whatever he probably said could have made it warranted for that to happen, but it's nothing else. It's nothing in this world you could say to like, hey, it's cool to spit on somebody. That's my problem. Yeah. You could have just, fist to come argue, but it more come out. But it was. I'm a little disappointed in Ja'Marr Chase. I expect better than him. And then he the face of. It's between him and Jettas for sure, but he's pretty much like the face of the best receiver in the league right now. If you got him and Jettas, so it's like you can't be doing stuff like that when you're the face at your position, bro. You can't. Right. Next up, though, shout out Tiffany is in the chat too. I see you, Tiff, because your Ravens got something to do with this story. We finally got our debut of Shedeur Sanders with Dylan Gabriel having a concussion. It didn't go as the way Shedeur wanted to go. He had 47 yards. He had 25% completion. I think he was 4 for 16. Didn't look as good his first game. And he admitted that he did play bad. The problem else that come to play, Sean, was when you found out, Shedeur hasn't taken one single rep with the first unit. So when he went out there, even the linemen don't even know his cadence. What is going on with Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur? Because even some people would even say that even Dylan Gabriel, even as a starter or the starter, or I forget, was it Shannon Sharp who said this? I forget, it was Shannon. He was talking about John Elway. He said even with John, if he had 10 reps, 2 of them reps they'll get to the backup just in case. So what's up with Stefanski and Shedeur? Like, what is the real problem? Because that got to be something else, Sharp. Because even the backups get some reps, he don't get none.
No,
he just don't rock with Shedeur.
So you got to keep in mind during the practice week, the starter is going to take the majority, if not all, the reps in practice if they're healthy.
Right.
So that's pretty much standard, right? The only time the backup generally is going to take any reps is if the starter says, "I need a day," or "I'm good," or whatever. But if the starter wants the reps, the starter's getting the reps. All right. So let's clear that up first. The second thing is the intent, as I understand it from inside the organization, from Kevin Stefanski, was this was going to be a red shirt year for Shedeur. They weren't expecting him to play. And again, the reason why he came in yesterday was because Dylan Gabriel got hurt and got a concussion. So I don't want to call it his debut. Obviously, this is his first time playing in the regular season, but it wasn't like he went into the game knowing, during the week he was going to be the starter. He took reps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a guy who has not taken a lot of reps. It doesn't mean he doesn't practice. It doesn't mean that he doesn't, stay after and get extra work. He may be running scout team, things of that nature. That all is dependent on what the coaching staff has the game plan for him this week. But what I want to talk about is what we did see. You saw a guy who, again, still there. If you had questions about Shedeur coming into the NFL, some of those questions are still valid because, again, he does still have the tendency to hold the ball too long. He's got to get that out of his game. He's obviously, tends to drift in the pocket, quite a bit. He's got to get that clean. When he's standing in a clean pocket, he can deliver the football. You saw a couple of passes where he did that. One in particular was broken up, would have been a completion that was broken up. At the end of the day, I want to be very clear. There's no conspiracy theory against Shedeur Sanders, right? That doesn't benefit the Cleveland Browns. It doesn't benefit.
I just feel like how he handled it is a little different than everybody else.
You're making the mistake, SB, of looking at the name. They're looking at the player, right? Dillon Gabriel has not wowed this year in terms of his numbers, but he's actually played pretty solid football.
Yeah, he's solid.
If Shedeur Sanders had shown at any point that as of today he was better than Dillon Gabriel, you don't think the Browns, as a staff, Kevin Stefanski as a head coach, will make the decision to go to Shedeur Sanders?
No, I don't think he would.
He would if that's what puts the team in the best position. He would, not just short term, but also long term. But again, this is Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. Kevin Stefanski is someone who has had some success in this league. Again, I want to be very clear. This isn't saying that Shedeur has gotten every opportunity. Going to the Browns, getting drafted by the Browns with a team that had 4 quarterbacks going into, and we didn't even include Deshaun Watson in that equation, 4 quarterbacks on the active roster in the offseason was going to be a bit of a climb uphill for him, right? But it's not like he hasn't gotten a chance to practice. It's not like he hasn't got a chance. They see him every day. They see what he does every day. We don't. We just see Sundays. So I have to presume, based on how this tends to work, that these teams want to be in the position to say, hey, we at least have this guy, and even if we're not winning games, this guy is showing promise, and we want to continue to be a part of the development of that promise. The Giants are a great example of that. Jackson Dart came in. Jackson Dart showed some flash. People thought that was going to buy Brian Daboll some more time. It did not.
Well, he almost got that boy killed trying to keep his job.
So that's what I'm saying. So again, I'm saying that these organizations and these coaches are going to do what they think is in the best interest of the team and generally themselves and their coaching staff. So if Shedeur is going to play and Shedeur was the best player to play, he'd be playing. They don't view him as that as of today. It doesn't mean he can't become that. We don't know. That's where we're going to see. But as of right now, Dillon Gabriel's in concussion protocol. Shedeur may very well have to start this Sunday.
They said he might start Sunday, yeah.
So we'll see. I
think he picked the perfect game to start. He might go over there. They play the Raiders.
Maybe, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. So we'll see.
I don't trust Stefanski, but we get into it. But speaking of concussion protocols with Dillon Gabriel, we got to do the injury bug. And you say you got a couple of injury bugs that happen. What you got for the injury bug?
I mean,
obviously Wemby. We talked about Wemby already.
Yeah, we talked about Victor Wembanyama, Michael Penix Jr. Potentially out for the season. The Falcons put him on IR, so potentially could miss the rest of the season. Drake London is hurt. That really turned the game yesterday. Again, credit to the Panthers for fighting and coming back, and Bryce Young having a career day yesterday. But those two stick out. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers has a hand injury. They think he may have broken a bone in his wrist potentially. So, again,
it wasn't his throwing hand though, right?
No, it's not his throwing hand. But remember, you take the snap with 2 hands.
2 hands.
So, and he is in his 40s, so it may hurt a little more when it gets cold and that snap's coming up. If you got a wrist injury or a hand injury, so they have Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph did come in yesterday and help them hold on to the win against Cincinnati. Mason Rudolph obviously has had some experience, so we'll see what happens there. Josh Jacobs, getting hurt. He left the game yesterday. They're saying they don't think it's serious with him. So, we'll see. But a lot of injuries creeping up at this time of the year, particularly as some teams are fighting to stay in playoff contention, but also fighting for playoff positioning.
Speaking of that with the playoff positioning too, let me look at the NFL playoff picture. I wanna look at no, not that one. Because we do got to do a week 11 recap of what's going on. So if the playoffs was to start today, Sean, Eagles, Denver, respectively, will be number 1 seeds in both of their conferences. In NFC, round 1 would be Seahawks versus the Bucks, Bears versus the Packers, Rams versus the 49ers, and the NFC would be Steelers versus Buffalo, Chargers versus Colts, Jaguars versus the New England Patriots. And obviously the season ain't over yet. We still got a long way to go. But I can tell you one thing. It is shocking to see the Kansas City Chiefs not in the playoffs right now. That's one thing I'm going to say I'm shocked about if I'm talking about week 11 stuff right now. Even though, you can't never really doubt the Chiefs, I still think they're going to find a way right now. And the Ravens obviously being out the loop, but you see the Ravens are coming. I think the Ravens are going to make their way to the playoffs. I want to say the Chiefs, but I wouldn't lose any sleep if the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs. To be honest with you, Sean. But what was something that you've seen in week 11 that you learned, or what shocked you a little bit?
Probably the game that shocked me the most yesterday was the Chargers game.
I turned it off. I turned it off in the third. I stopped watching it.
Yeah, that was definitely.
I turned it off in the third. I stopped watching. I was pissed.
Definitely a huge surprise. And I would say that's probably the one game that just really definitely shocked me the most. Other than that, I mean, there were some really competitive games, some games that went down to the wire, a couple games went to overtime yesterday. I think
I can tell you what shocked me.
What's that?
Sam Darnold looked like Sam Darnold. Awful. He looked awful. But the problem, by the way, what shocked me more, and that's why I said that's why I told you, Seahawks get home field advantage, they'll be the most dangerous team. If I told you my quarterback threw 4 interceptions and literally played god awful, would you expect me and my team to get blew out?
Generally, you would think so, but
they almost won this. They still almost won with how bad Sam Darnold played.
Right.
The Seahawks is a problem. I'm telling you. And Smith Najigba, boy, he been killing this year, by the way. But that was the main thing for me, Sean, this week. Sam Darnold looked awful, and the Seahawks still almost won that game.
Yeah.
One less interception, they won.
I mean, it's hard to say, but I will say, obviously, their defense played really well yesterday, well enough to keep them in the game and keep them competitive. But, a couple of those interceptions they were bad. Really bad interceptions. And, again, everybody wants to say all interceptions are bad. Every interception has a story. Sometimes it is receiver running the wrong route. Sometimes it is a batted ball. Sometimes it is, I saw a lot of quarterbacks threw interceptions yesterday. Josh Allen threw one of the worst interceptions yesterday I've ever seen in my life. And yet nobody's going to talk about it because, he had a 6-touchdown game. So, it happens, obviously. But, and then probably the other thing, too, is that if you told me before the season or even as the season started that Atlanta and Carolina would be going in these different directions, Atlanta's, lost, 4 or 5 games in a row, 3 very close games in the last 3 weeks. And Carolina's obviously been on a little bit of a run. Right. They're making some noise in that NFC South with the Buccaneers now on a 3-game losing streak. So, that's the thing is you just never know in the NFL. Sometimes it can just be your month and your time. So, but we still got a long way to go. 6 more weeks in the season. We'll see what happens. But
Sam Darnold better not throw the ball 44 times ever again. I'm gonna tell you that. He better not do that. And then what else what was the other thing that stuck out to me in week 11? That was like the main thing. It was something else. Hold on, I gotta look. I got it in the real takeover reaction, so I'm not gonna say the one about the Eagles or the Bears.
And I'll say this too, and I'll just say this. Obviously, the Ravens are on a winning streak. I'm not saying they're not, but I do have some concerns about that offense. I do have some concerns about that offense, but they found a way to win. But I'm concerned about that offense. Same concerns we have about another team's offense that's having a good season. Couple teams' offense having a good season. I have that concern about that Ravens offense. It is a little bit of a concern.
My question for you is though, right? Because I'm looking at the Broncos and 9-2, right? Their defense is elite. Do you trust Bo Nix enough to do his job to get the Broncos far?
I trust Bo Nix if Bo Nix is just managing the game.
Okay. But if it's on him winning the game, you can't see him doing it.
No.
Okay. I mean, I'm asking. I'm asking honestly. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm watching them closely. We division rivals, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for my Chargers because we do got a lot of injuries on the O-line. But yesterday was no excuse for nothing. Is my Chargers legit to you, or you think the injuries with our O-line and the people we out the loop? Also, Herbert led the team in rushing yards. That should never happen.
Right. Yeah. And the Jaguars came after him yesterday. They came after him yesterday quite a bit. But, again, it could be an aberration. But, if I see that Jim Harbaugh, hands on the knees, squinting, looking at the field.
It's GG's. It's GG's.
Yeah, so, no.
It's a long game. But we got to do our real take overreaction. And then we got to get to our picks of the week. I think I'm up 1 off the picks of the week for this.
You're not.
I'm not up 1? You sure?
Nope. Yep.
Oh, no, you up 1. 5-4, right?
Yes.
Okay, bad. 5-4-1, if you count the tie. All right, real take overreaction time. You ready? Yeah, I got some good ones there for you. Real take or overreaction. Detroit basketball is back, and I think they are a legit number 1 seed. Real take overreaction.
I'm gonna say real take because eventually they'll get Jay Ivey back, I believe.
You big on Jay Ivey too.
Yeah. But I don't know if this team is better than a second round team.
I mean, that's a good season for them, though, to be honest with me.
Well, I mean, a good season is winning the championship, but
not when you ain't make the playoffs in years. I'm sorry, no.
I mean, they made the playoffs last year. So
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I think they came in this season with great expectation. They're playing really well. You can't take that away from them. The biggest thing is defensively is what's carrying them. But I don't want to see another game where Cade Cunningham has to take 45 shots
to get 45 points. Those
were KLNs. So, Kobe-like numbers. So my point is that, I don't want to see that. I don't know if they have to make a move, but maybe the move is getting Jaden Ivey back. But defensively, they're really good. They're really locked in. But again, in the East right now, it's hard to say because, again, we haven't seen a fully healthy Cleveland team. We know the Knicks obviously are dealing with injury because Jalen Brunson is out. Orlando's, been a little nicked up. Paolo, so I want to see when these teams are fully healthy what they really do. But Detroit basketball, if I was a Pistons fan, I'd be first of all, if you're a Detroit sports fan, between the Pistons, Lions, and the Tigers, you should be really happy right now. I don't hear no complaints from you.
Yeah, it's been rare where all the teams been good.
Right,
I'm in shock. And then I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna save it for All-Star break. But I do still feel this way. I'm gonna have a real takeover reaction here. My real takeover reaction that I'm gonna say now. I'm just saying early. If the Knicks don't do it this year, go to the final. They'll never do it any other year. This is their best chance to get out the East this year. If they don't do it this year, I can't see no other year them do it. Next up, real take overreaction. We talked about him earlier. Everybody, even somebody in the chat said you wouldn't trade Bam for AD. No, it wouldn't, because availability is the best ability. For the reason that I said earlier about him being out of shape, injury prone at his age, and his contract, no team should trade for Anthony Davis at this current time. And I think y'all should let the Mavericks suffer. Real takeover reaction.
I'm going to say overreaction because, again, I think if you can get Anthony Davis for 70 cents on the dollar, you consider doing it. So, yeah, I'm going to say overreaction.
But for what they ask you for, what I'm saying, a young star.
So,
two first-round picks, 2 second-round, unprotected? No, I'm not doing that.
Well, again, every team, all it takes is one team. One team to say, hey, we think this is the move that puts us over the top or puts us in the contention that we want to be in. I don't think there are a lot of teams that are doing that. I'm saying that I think, again, and a lot of it is about not just the compensation you have to give up, but also the fact that you're going to have to extend Anthony Davis if you give up all that compensation. And you're talking about paying him well into $70 million a season at his age 37 season. And I think that's not a good investment at this point.
Real take or overreaction. Myles Garrett will break the single season sack record.
I'll let you answer this one first, SB.
I think you're doing it, yeah. What's the number right now? The single season sack record is 22.5 sacks by Michael Strahan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess TJ Watt tied the record. And Myles Garrett stats right now.
Yes, 15 so far.
15. So he needs to, because last game he had how many? 4 sacks?
He had 4 sacks yesterday.
He had 4 sacks last. It did a game against the Patriots. He had 5 sacks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How many? Let me check their schedule.
It's.
So he had 15.
Yeah.
So you need like 8 more, 8 more.
He needs 8 more. He needs 8 more to break.
I can see him at least getting.
I mean,
he might get it because the next 3 games is Raiders, 49ers, Titans. The Titans, he getting 4 sacks that game for sure.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
No, I'm just saying because the Titans don't protect Cam Ward bad. It ain't even just him. I'm just saying because not even saying the Titans bad. Their protection of Cam Ward is even bad as their record.
I mean, if we're being honest, outside of Chicago and the Buffalo games, he could have multi-sack games, I think, pretty easily in these next, 7 weeks.
I can see him get 2 sacks each game.
You could very well see that, and that's my point. Like, I think it's a reality, and then you just have to look at those quarterbacks. So next week, obviously, Geno Smith. The week after is Brock Purdy. The week after, Cam Ward, Caleb Williams, Josh Allen. Those are the 2, Caleb Williams and Josh Allen, where I'm like maybe a little iffy. And then Pittsburgh, you're talking either Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph, and you know his history with Mason Rudolph. You know he would love to get that against Mason Rudolph. And then Cincinnati, that last game, potentially Joe Burrow coming back or still Joe Flacco. So
Joe Burrow,
I think it's right for him to get it, but we'll see. But I believe this is actually a real take. I think Myles Garrett is going to break the single season sack record this season.
I think, and I'm glad we're bringing this up too. So my next question is real take or overreaction. This is more of a question too. Which player talent is getting wasted more? Myles Garrett or Jay Jettis of the Vikings?
Define wasted.
Well, you got one quarterback who's not getting that guy the ball, or his quarterback is playing bad, and then you got another guy where their team is at the bottom of the division, but he's playing good. If you have to pick between the two, whose talent is getting wasted more right now? Because you have Myles Garrett having an all-time defensive season, going to break possibly the sack record, which you talk about. And we got Jay Jettis, who is literally the best wide receiver in the league, but he's not going to get the credit for it because his quarterback's not playing good. So everybody's saying Ja'Marr Chase. But I still think Jettis is a better wide receiver than Ja'Marr Chase.
Mm.
So that's what I mean by wasted.
I'm gonna say Jay Jettis because of expectations for that team.
Okay.
That a lot of people thought they would still be a playoff team this year. I did not, but a lot of people thought they would still be a playoff team this year. So I'm gonna say Jay Jettis is getting wasted more on what people thought would be a playoff team.
Well, at least if you ask AJ Brown, it's him. He getting wasted more than anybody. Man, free Jettis, man. When the last time Jettis had a what's his stats this year? When the last time Jettis had a touchdown? Jeez, this been bad.
I think he had a touchdown against Detroit.
Let me see. Yards, TD. Nope. I'm gonna mess your head up right now, Sean. Justin Jefferson. Right now, only have 2 touchdowns this season.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson only has 2. We are in week 11.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson only has 2 touchdowns. I knew it was bad, but it can't be that bad. Free Jettis, man. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. At least get Miles Garrett still get some numbers. He hasn't had over 100 yards since week 1, 2, 3, 4. Since week 5. It's definitely JJ. Free Jettis, man. Jesus Louise. They should have just kept Sam Darnold at that point.
So, and again, I did say his last touchdown was against the Lions. He did score a touchdown against the Lions a couple weeks ago. But yes, and then before that, it was against the Bears on Monday Night Football at opening night. So yes,
Jay Jettis getting wasted. Free Jettis. Real take or overreaction? The Philadelphia Eagles offense is the reason they won't repeat.
I'm going to say overreaction. I'm going to say overreaction.
Why do you think so?
Is there an offense right now in the AFC that you say definitively, if they played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, that team is beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
All in the AFC?
In the AFC. That's my point.
Hold on, wait. Let me look. Because of their defense, can keep up with the Eagles' defense. I think the Broncos will beat the Eagles.
No,
right
they will not. They will not beat the
Eagles.
First of all, they're not that team. I'm not a gambler, so I'm not going to even say that. They're not winning a playoff game.
Wow. They 6-0 at home. You know that, right? They have not. They got the number 1 seed. They have not lost at home.
Sometimes luck is a beautiful lady.
I mean that could be true, but I'm just saying if their defense can't compete with the Eagles' defense, is it better? No,
I'm saying, but of those two offenses, because again, if their defenses are all equal, those 2 offenses, you trust the Broncos' offense more than the Eagles' offense right now?
Today, yes.
Oh no.
Today, yes.
No, and I'll tell you primarily why. Because Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over.
He don't never turn. He barely throw the ball. He don't do nothing with the ball.
He throws the ball. He's not turned the ball over.
No,
I'm not saying there are not issues with that Eagles offense. There are issues with that Eagles offense. However, it's not QB play, to be clear. So
it's play calling. To me, it's the plays they running. To me,
I think if you watched last night, the play calling again was very, very predictable, and it was very
that's vanilla. The problem.
And again, I saw something earlier. A former Eagle who's works for the radio station there said that there's some concern that Jalen Hurts has gone rogue a couple times with some of the play call and things of that nature. I have to take them because this is someone who traditionally defends Jalen Hurts. So I'm going to take that for what it is. But I do think there's some frustration with the offense. And then there's frustration that didn't exist last year with the offense. And the major change in the offense is going from Kellen Moore to Kevin Patullo. So Kevin Patullo, I think, is the problem. And Nick Sirianni doesn't seem like he's willing to fix the problem or address the issue. So, because again, winning a Super Bowl tends to buy you goodwill and a little bit of time. That said, that's not the same offense from last year. That offense last year was much more of a rhythm offense. Basically, the rhythm came off of running the football. They don't have that this year. And again, outside of Mekhi Becton being gone, they've had some injuries on the offensive line this year, no doubt. But to me, their great issue is it's just not a rhythm offense that it was last year.
Okay, I got a question to point. Then we're gonna get into this comment about time because I actually kind of agree with what you said. My question to you before we get into the comment: if the Eagles defense don't show up, can you trust them to win the game? If the Eagles defense play god awful, give up 35 plus points, you can definitively say you trust the Eagles to still win that game.
That depends on the opponent.
Okay, if it's Buffalo, New England, or Denver.
No, Buffalo can't stop the run to save their life.
So you think they could beat Buffalo because they can beat Brown. But what about New England and Denver? If the Eagles defense don't show up,
I got to see it from New England against a quality opponent in the playoffs before I'm buying New England.
Now, if any team, and I hate to say this because the Broncos in our division, but the Broncos, I think Broncos legit. New England is the team. I agree with you what you said about the Broncos. I will see the New England win the playoff game.
Yeah, I don't.
They haven't played
that for a Sean Payton coach team to be that bad offensively.
Mm-hmm. That's tough. But Tab said FYS today, the Eagles defense will have to show up every time when they play. I 100% agree with that. And he said, I believe Buffalo, New England, and Denver can beat Philly in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'd say this. People are going to look at the last 2 weeks of the Eagles offense. Green Bay on Monday night and obviously Detroit last night. We believe those are two really good teams, right?
Yes.
Right. So I'm not saying they're not struggling against bad teams. Those teams came out and gave the Eagles their best shot, particularly that Green Bay game. Detroit, again, Jared Goff didn't look great last night, and outside of Jahmyr Gibbs, their offense was pretty stymied. And again, give credit to that Eagles defense. I'm saying I think the big issue to me is the Eagles have not consistently put together a great call game all season. They've had great call halves. The first half in Tampa was a great call first half.
Yeah.
The second half against the Rams was a better half for that offense. They just haven't put together for an entire game just yet. The Minnesota game was close to better, but still, we'll see.
Yeah, and also he said, I kind of trust the Eagles because of their quarterback. We give Patrick Mahomes the benefit of the doubt all the time. You got to give Jalen Hurts his due. No, Jalen Hurts is not the problem. The problem with the Eagles offense is they play calling. They play calling is god awful. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not Saquon Barkley. It's not A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. But for you as a play caller, if you can't have any type of explosive offense, when you got a guy like Jalen Hurts at quarterback, he ain't got the biggest arm, but he won't turn the ball over, and he can use his legs. You got Saquon Barkley, who was literally the MVP last year. You got A.J. Brown, who's one of the best receivers in the league, and you got Devontae Smith, who's another good receiver. You can't find no good plays to run. You can't make you can't go a whole game with all the weapons. You don't need a job in the NFL if you can't find a great offense with the players you got. You never gonna get a team that talented, ever. And you can't make the play calls. Come on, man. Dude gotta go. I'm gonna be real with you, Sean. He only still got a job right now because everybody know that's Nick Boy. That's his guy. Because if anybody else was struggling the way he struggled calling his offense, he would have been fired or he would have been relieved of his duties to play call. And Sean, tell me if I'm wrong. Because the only reason why he's still in position right now because that's Nick Boy.
Yeah, no, listen. If you ask any Eagles fans, he's Press Taylor. If you don't know who Press Taylor is, look him up. This person is literally the problem. And again, the head coach, because of a loyalty, because Kevin Patullo's been with him forever, there's a certain loyalty and a kinship there. And they're just getting by and they're just winning these games. But again, we're about to hit December, and if this offense doesn't find a stride with play calling and with the rhythm that with which it's playing, there's going to be some questions about whether or not this offense is good enough, top to bottom, to get back to the Super Bowl. I think their bottom line is, hey, figure out a way to win the number 1 seed and find some rhythm offensively as you get into the month of December, because again, you can get hot in the month of December and ride that all the way back to the Super Bowl. But until they find that rhythm with play calling and with the way that things are looking, there's going to be questions and there's going to be doubts about the Eagles. But to Ty's point, yeah, Jalen Hurts has proven in the playoffs he does take his game to another level, and the Eagles do tend to play at another level. But I think at some point we can't just always depend on that. We want to see it going into the playoffs, and can they start that sooner than later?
Go Jay said my cheese might be out here. Yeah, y'all might be cooked, my boy. Might be cooked. Y'all might be cooked. But as we got Patrick Mahomes, you always get a chance. Mahomes might actually need some time off. He done been deep in the playoffs every year. A little extra vacation might actually help the Chiefs. And actually losing the season might actually help the Chiefs to get some more talent on their roster. JJ might want to get out of mini soon, dude. Like he can. And free JJ, bro. It's no way Justin Jefferson only have 2 touchdowns in this far in the season. I'm sorry. Can't do that. My last one.
Real quick. I know we do our picks of the week, and we got to do that. This coming week, the Philadelphia Eagles go to the Dallas and play the Cowboys. So if you want to get right game for your offense against that defense, is a good time to get a get right game.
If they don't put up more than 20 I ain't want to overdo it, say 30. They'll put more than 24 points up against the Dallas defense. That's a problem. Last one, real take before we get our picks of the week. Real take or overreaction. The Chicago Bears are the dark horse team in the NFC, and possibly, I'm going to stand on it. They're the dark horse team in the NFC, and placed in the right situation in the playoffs. Who they play? I got them going to the NFC Championship game.
That's a lot of dip on the chip.
Dip on the chip.
Because
Ed, I believe the close games are helping them. Let me add to my point more. The last time we seen a team that look excited with the young quarterback, and every game they won last year, it was the close games, was the Commanders, and the Commanders made it out to the NFC Championship because the close games do help when it comes to the playoffs. So, but the Bears are the true dark horse team in the NFC. In place, if they avoid probably maybe, let me look at the playoff picture again. I don't think I got it up no more.
Right now they're the second, or excuse me, not the second seed. They're the third seed in the NFC.
I think long as they can avoid. Wait, I'm trying to look at the bracket. They're the third seed. Honestly, as long as if they can avoid the Eagles, in which they can look like it might happen, I got them going to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
they can beat anybody but the Eagles.
I think
again, they could beat the Eagles too. To be honest, the offensive trouble.
I mean, again, I don't want to put too much on it because right now they're only a game up in the division over the Lions and Packers. It's still a long way to go in the division. Certainly, they've been able to put together a win streak here. While again, the Packers have had their struggles, and obviously the Lions lost last night. I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibility that they couldn't go on a run, but I know they still got 2 games left against Green Bay. Still got 1 game left against Detroit. They still got to play the Eagles in Philly on Black Friday. They still got to play Pittsburgh this coming week. They got to go out to San Francisco. So let's see what they do. I'm going to say this is a little tough part of their schedule, but let's see. What they do. And again, it depends on which Bears team shows up because, again, the Bears can look really good one week and then they can look like they did against the Ravens, a couple weeks ago, so let's see what happens. Yeah.
And then also the Bears problem is that they got to play better coming out in the second half. They always get together in the fourth, but that third quarter, they always don't look as good. So they got to be more consistent on that. And then the other team I said if they could avoid the Seahawks at Seattle. I think the Seattle comes Chicago, they beat them. But I think the Bears legitimately can beat any other team. Now, picks of the week recap.
SB and Sean NFL picks of the week.
Right now, SB and Sean NFL picks of the week. Down 1, 4-5. Sean Webb, we had one tie 1 week. All right, let's go through the list and see what we pick who won this week. And does tonight game does tonight game matter?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Excuse me. Washington at Miami. I took the Commanders. You took the Dolphins. Dolphins did win that game.
Let's go Dolphins.
Carolina, Atlanta. Carolina won that game in overtime. We both took Atlanta. Tampa Bay at Buffalo. We both took the Bills. Bills did win that one. Houston at Tennessee. Houston did pull that one out late. Chicago at Minnesota. We both took the Bears. Bears did win. Green Bay at the Giants. Green Bay did pull that one out late. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did win that game. Chargers at Jacksonville. We both took the Chargers. We know how that ended.
Yes, we do.
Seattle at the Rams. Rams pulled that one out late. San Francisco at Arizona. San Francisco had the game won in the first quarter. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, set an NFL record in completions yesterday with 47 in one game. Shout out. Yeah, and they lost. San Francisco did win that game. Baltimore at Cleveland, we both took the Ravens. Ravens did win. Kansas City at Denver, we both took the Chiefs. Chiefs did not win that game. Detroit at Philadelphia, you took the Lions. I took the Eagles. Eagles did win. Dallas at Vegas tonight, you took the Cowboys. I took the Raiders just because we just have an odd number of games. So tonight's game does count, and we'll see who wins tonight.
Oh, man. I never thought today. It's two teams that I don't like, the Raiders and the Cowboys. I can't believe I'm actually hoping the Cowboys win.
70s throwback. 70s throwback matchup. So
we can see how it goes, man. Well, y'all find out next week who won. So go Dallas, get the job done for your boy. But this has been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates with SB and Sean, because the football game is actually starting T-minus in like 1 minute. So go watch your Monday Night Football, get your popcorn ready, and we will see you guys Monday. Peace out.
Real takes over fake debates.